What is your favorite attribute right now?
Hmm. Honestly, this is it's gonna be so cliche, but Wally, I
Yeah,
think that
yeah, that's been my zikr for this season that we in for the month. I've been doing them 1,000 a day. I haven't missed. You know what I mean? So
oh
I
yeah,
do a
growing
thousand
up
wallies every day. Yeah.
to I mean it has a different two different meanings. Wali is the trustee.
What was So did y'all grow up religious?
No, not really. Well, at least to me, like my dad was always I wouldn't really call him a Muslim because he doesn't really necessarily identify with that term. But he has always practiced the Islamic faith.
What is your thus far, what would you say your favorite thing of being in the golden heart has been
Oh
for you?
man, oh man, this Golden Heart experience definitely is probably the most vulnerable and submissive I've ever been in my life, with
Mm.
a group of people who I did not know prior to coming to the Golden Heart.
Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I guess I'm your host, man. I'm with the one and only, the light, the one who is the Arabic 101 extraordinaire, Mr. Eric Wali J. We're gonna call this conversation just an open conversation. Friends of God, Walis of Allah. Assalamu alaikum, bro. What's happening, man?
Walaikum salam. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, what's going on, man? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. It's
That's what's up.
it's nice and sunny outside. It's been
Yeah.
cloudy all week, so I'm doing good.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. So, man, let's just have an open conversation. Whatever's on your mind and on mine as well. I think I can go first with share where did you grow up? You know what I mean? And what was it like growing up for you?
That's a good question. So I grew up in Detroit. Um, Most of my family is from the South,
Hmm.
so I grew up in Detroit. Um, Went to school all in Detroit, like actually Detroit. Uh, I had a pretty good growing up experience. I wasn't into like a lot of activities, like sports and all that type of stuff. I kind of just did all that stuff like on my own outside of school and all of that. Um, Growing up, what else can I say? I was really into my dad is an engineer, and one of my grandfathers is an engineer, and another grandfather is a doctor. So I kind of was I was a nerd pretty much. I didn't
Yeah.
really, yeah, like I didn't really too much do a lot of stuff other than you know a lot of hands-on stuff. So uh I didn't really like toys and all that type of stuff. I would get stethoscopes and reflex hammers and
Yeah.
engineering kits and stuff like put together as a kid. I wasn't really like a toy kind of kid.
Yeah.
Uh, and my mom, she always said that even if you did want a toy, you will always know exactly what you wanted. Like we would go to Toys R Us, and she like all the other kids they go in there and they go crazy. She was like, no, not you. You just go and get the exact toy you wanted, and that's it. So
Right.
that's pretty much how it was. I was like really hands on, and I was reading and learning about like plants and animals and all that type of stuff. So I
Yeah.
pretty much just grew up like that.
That's amazing, man. So it's cultivating the intelligence
Yeah,
in youth.
definitely.
Yeah. Versus get outside, go outside somewhere. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? You know what I
They
mean?
had to.
So what was so did y'all grow up religious?
No, not really. Well, at least to me, like my dad was always I wouldn't really call him a Muslim because he doesn't really necessarily identify with that term. But he has always practiced the Islamic faith. Of course, like my grandparents and stuff were religious on the Christian side, but there was never they never forced me to do any of that. Like my dad never forced Islam on me. My mom never forced Christianity on me, or neither did my grandmothers, anything like that. Because of like my experiences as a kid, I would want to go to church because I would like have these dreams and they would always come true. And I would, like daydream and like, I'd be looking out I'd be in the car, be driving somewhere, and I'd just be daydreaming. And then the thing that I was just daydreaming about happened. And I never really had anybody to really talk to about it. Like, when you're a kid, um, your parents just think like, oh, you
Mm-hmm.
just watching too much cartoons or you watching TV. So I kind of really like, I didn't really share a lot of those experiences with my parents. And one of the experiences, I told my aunt, because I would always go to church, and not because of like, they were forcing me to, like I said, but I was trying to find out like, what does all of this mean? What is the Holy Ghost? Like where is the Holy Ghost? Like where does that reside?
Mm-hmm.
And I damn near would basically, they were like, do not bring this little boy back to church because you are interrupting the service. You can't be asking questions and stuff like that. But I wasn't doing it to be, like a pest. I really was doing it because I was really inquisitive. Like, okay, what will tell me like, all these things. And, as adults, they would be like, you can't really ask those type of questions. Not really like my mom. She just didn't really have the answer. She was like, I don't really know. And
Mm-hmm.
my dad, he would tell me certain things, but like I just kind of had to figure that journey out on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. Gotcha, gotcha. So when you say your dad was, he don't identify as Muslim, but he practiced. What was that? That what was his Islam like that you saw?
Um. So growing up, my dad is like, he like the real religious, like, or spiritual person. Growing up, he never really, he kind of kept that to himself because he didn't want to like impose that on us. So like
Mm-hmm.
my dad would have a Bible, he would have a Quran. Um, I never seen him like mix a lot or anything like that, but I will always see him reading, and I will always hear him like praying, like, in the room. He had a door closed and all that type of stuff. And um, growing up, like he would not, buy certain foods. He would like, okay, so we eat halal foods. This is what halal mean, yada yada yada. He would cook the food a certain way, prepare the food a certain way, and all of that type of stuff. So it was more so like the, I guess, the principles of Islam. And I mean, growing up, I didn't really know, really like, as a young age, I didn't really understand like what a Muslim was. Like, I knew what the Quran was and stuff like that, but I didn't really see that. Um, Backstory, like my grandpa, he grew up with like Malcolm X and all of them. So like it was more of the Nation of Islam type of
Mm-hmm.
Muslim. So I didn't really know of the Orthodox type of way of the Muslim life. So it was more of that, more of the principles. And this is how you be a man. This is what you do. This is right. This is wrong, per se. So it was more of that.
Gotcha, gotcha. So you never seen him go to a mosque, a temple, or a masjid?
No, he would always say like, yeah, he would always teach me about the history, like the first mosque in Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
what Malcolm X and Fard Muhammad
Mm-hmm.
and all that type of stuff. But we never went to a mosque together because of the, at that time I didn't know, but now I know. At the time he was like, it's just, it's different. Like he didn't want to go to the mosque with the Orthodox Muslims because of how they look at us as so-called black people going to the mosque and doing this
Mm-hmm.
type of stuff. They kind of look down on us. So he
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't really go, and he would he would always get into it with the people, and I was like, dang, like what's like, I will always be so interested in, we would talk about stuff like that, and he would tell me some of the differences, and he would always say, they are not righteous Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
They are just not righteous Muslims. Like,
Mm-hmm.
at the time, I'm like, what do you mean by that? And
Mm-hmm.
so now that we talk now I totally understand of
Mm-hmm.
what he was saying and all of that type of stuff.
Got you. Got you. Got you. So it sounds like maybe his, because we talking about Detroit. Detroit is home to temple number one or mosque number
Yeah,
one for the Nation of Islam. And so I would assume that a lot of, what we call African American black people got Islam that way for
yeah,
sure and whatnot. But you will hear him praying.
yeah.
And, so kind of looking back now, where you at, do you think it was more he had a knowledge of, let's just say, Quran, Arabic, the Prophet? Because see, Prophet Muhammad, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Wali, is like, he's not even really talked about in the Nation of Islam.
No.
You know what I mean?
um
So now looking back, do you see that he had a knowledge of that as well?
oh, absolutely. He would talk about the Prophet Muhammad and stuff like that. And um even it's funny because we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, and he was like, I was asking him about the Nation of Islam, and like, how come you don't really go, and you don't do that anymore. He was just like, and no disrespect at all to the Nation of Islam, and he was
Hmm.
just saying like, I just don't really, some of the stuff that they do, it just don't resonate with me anymore. Like now that
Hmm.
I'm older and now that I'm, a little bit more seasoned, like it's just it's just not for me. He was like, the teachings of the Nation of Islam are totally, they're really good, but some of the
Hmm.
practices and stuff that they do and don't do, he's like, I just don't,
Yeah.
I'm not really rocking with that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that was more of that. He would definitely read the Quran all the time. Like, man, all the time. And he actually had the one in Arabic,
Hmm.
not even the one in English. And I
Hmm.
always look at it, I'm like, Dad, like, how do you know what this say? He was like, yeah, like I studied this and da 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 da. And I'm like, oh wow, like this is so cool. And like I was just always so fascinated with the Quran and like the Arabic, and like it was always just so interesting to me
Right.
because I never heard people talk about the Quran like how they talk about the Bible or anything like that.
Hmm.
It was never like, it was always like a disconnect, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. 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 Which is a perfect segue into so I remember you shared before that you found out that your dad actually, I think it was your father, he told you he was going to name you.
Oh yeah. So my dad actually was gonna name me Quran, like how it's spelled, like the circle seven, Koran.
Hmm.
And the only reason why my name is Eric is because, well, I'm the firstborn male of my whole siblings, and my great grandfather is named Eric. My grandfather name is Eric, and my dad name is Eric. But
Hmm.
our middle names are different, so I'm the only junior.
Hmm.
But yeah, and my great grandpa is actually, he turning 100 this month.
Oh,
So
alhamdulillah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
alhamdulillah. So yeah.
Yeah. That is dope. Yeah, 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 yeah. So for you, when was the first time that you could remember reading the Quran? And then when was it that you was like, I'm in?
Um, I would say maybe like 2 years ago. Like
Hmm.
I was just doing like some more like soul searching and stuff like that, and I think actually kind of more so when I ran into you in one of your videos, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I'm like, I've been having like this weird spiritual itch that I can't scratch. Like,
Right,
and
right.
like I was saying, like I always was very interested in the Quran, but like I didn't know how to really like approach it and how to get my foot in the door. Like, what type of Qurans are there? Like, Is this Quran more accurate than one Quran? So I just kind of like, it was like bits and spurts of like information. And I want to say like maybe last year, well, late 2025 is really when I started to really like get in my bag, sort of say. Like I started researching more, started reading more, and I didn't really understand all of the Quran because it's very cryptic. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you like, well, what does this mean? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really have a lot of knowledge of the companions. I didn't really have a lot of knowledge about the Islamic or quote unquote religion. I just was reading it, like, like trying to find information about it. And I had decided, that's when I started more late last year or early last year, is really when I started to really like lock in and really try to get the knowledge of understanding all of the information that's in it. And even and still now, like it's oh my god, it's so layered.
Mm-hmm.
And I just truly find it interesting every day. um I have a new revelation, I feel like, and I learn something new, and I just totally think it's just cool. Like, I think it's, they say that the Quran is one of the few books that has yet to be fully interpreted.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I just totally think it's cool. Like,
Definitely. Just
yeah.
do you remember a moment where, for lack of it, or where you got hooked?
Um. Hmm. Hmm. I want to say maybe this, when we started to practice the real Ramadan, um, last year.
Mm-hmm.
My dad would always practice the the other Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being facetious, but but yeah. So he would always like practice that, and we would always fast and all that type of stuff. But last year, getting that understanding of how Ramadan is supposed to be at a set certain time and not a different time every year, and really made me understand, like, okay, so during that time, at work, actually, um, I would just listen to the Quran at work. So I would be, doing on the computer or whatever, and I would just be listening to it, and I would be like, oh my god, like I gotta rewind that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean? Like, oh my god. So it would basically, I would go and I would look up that verse, and then I would go see like scholars talk about the verse or the surah, and see what interpretation that they would have. And then I would call my dad, and I'd be like, hey dad, like, surah such and such and such and such, like, what you think about it, or like, what you remember about this, or, and me and my dad would like, our relationship, I've always had a fantastic relationship with my parents. Like, I call them my best friends. And but now that I've got more into my dean, me and my dad's relationship has definitely become stronger. And like, he'll
Come
call
on.
me and he'll ask me stuff like, hey, you know, da 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 da. And like, what do you think about this? And like, yada yada. And so I totally think that's cool. Like, of course, I don't I'm not at the level of like my dad's dean, I guess I would say, but I
Mm-hmm.
just think it's cool that he calls me and asks me questions, and we talk about Quran and all that type of stuff. Like, so yeah, basically to answer that question, definitely last Ramadan, because I needed to occupy myself because I was hungry. So I'm like, what
Right.
better way to feed my mind and my body and my spirit, really, is
Mm-hmm.
to learn Quran, figure
Yeah.
out what they talk about in different surahs and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. So listening to it and hearing the acoustics of it, I would call it.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's another thing I would say is that so you had asked me like how I grew up also. So the my middle school and my high school was main I would say like it was like 50% black and it was like 50% Arab.
Mm.
And maybe like a sprinkle of white people. Like it really was not any white people. Like you could probably count them all on maybe one hand, honestly.
Mm.
And so um I would always be interested. Like I would listen to like what they would say. Like, oh my God, like what are they saying? And I would just be like fascinated with the language. And also, if you don't know, who was it? Gaddafi.
Mhm.
He actually gave, I think the city of Detroit actually gave Gaddafi the key to the city of Detroit. So it's like
Wow.
a weird Islamic connection with Detroit
Yeah.
and Islam and
Yeah.
everything. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I did not
and
know that. Yeah.
yeah, and I would always sit with the Arabic students and ask them like a bunch of questions, like, so like what do you guys eat and what do you guys do and can you do this and can you do that? So I was always interested, and I just loved how the sound of Arabic just permeates like my ears. Like it's just relaxing and soothing. Like I don't know, what they're saying all the time, but I'm like, oh my God, like this just sounds beautiful. Like I could listen to this all day. Like
Yeah.
sometimes even when I can't sleep, I'll just turn on some Arabic and I'm out of there.
Yeah, yeah, I do
Yeah.
that as well. Alhamdulillah. I looked into that. It actually said Saddam Hussein was given the key to
Saddam
Detroit.
Hussein. Saddam Hussein.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Yo, in
Saddam Hussein.
1980,
Yeah.
Saddam Hussein was famously awarded the key to the city of Detroit by Mayor Coleman A. Young
Yes, yes. And
because
Coleman
he
Wong
do
Young was the first black mayor as well. Yeah,
Wow, that
yeah.
is wild. That is wild. That is wild. What do you think? Because you talk about dreams, right?
Hmm.
What do you think, or what has been your experience with dreams in the Quran or dreams in the holy text?
Oh man. Um, I was actually just talking to my homeboy about this last night. Um, so my family, um, as a kid, I didn't know, but my family, we all have like are like very vivid dreamers. Like, dreaming like full color, like it feels like, you know, you are awake in your dream. And I never knew this until I started to talk to my aunts and my uncles and my dad actually as well. But um now that I have been learning Arabic and I can literally like in my dreams I'll be reciting Arabic. It's
Mm,
crazy. Like I had a dream a couple of weeks ago, and something in my dream was like chasing me or whatever. Like I'm like, oh man, like I was feeling like frightened in my dream, and I remember turning around in my dream, and I remember reciting like idle Kursi, and
mhm.
whatever it was in my dream, it vanished. Like yeah,
Right,
yeah, it vanished,
right.
and like I'll I'll become conscious in my dream, like okay, like I'm dreaming, and like I can hear myself like reciting like a nas or idle Kursi or like whatever like in my dream, and like I'm like, dang, this is weird, like, and then like I'll wake up and I'm like, what's going on, like
Mhm.
so it's been so it has been I don't want to say weird, but it's just been very interesting of how Arabic has really changed like my neurochemistry in a way. Like
Yeah,
it's been very interesting.
yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. What would you say what's your favorite thing about Allah?
Oh man, that's a big question. Um, that's a really big question. Hmm. My favorite thing about Allah. Hmm. I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back to that one. That's a good question. There's a lot of my favorite things. I'm thinking of so many surahs right now, but I don't know. I have to come back on that one. That's a very very good question.
Yeah.
What about
And
you?
that,
I gotta ask you
uh,
that same question.
yeah. For me, I would absolutely have to say the mercy. Um,
Mm,
the mercy. I absolutely be beyond dumbfounded and befuddled, and honestly feel like I may not even be worthy
mm,
because of my past. Um, just growing up the way I grew up and did the things that I have done, a lot of imperfections, a lot of David, you
mm-hmm.
know, but that's the mercy of Allah. David, I always bring him up like, get me off the hook. Like, if I'm going to the fire. David, you better be right. I better be right there with you, bro, because
Yeah,
what you did was way
yeah,
more bogus than I ever been. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Because I ain't had nobody killed when I slept with that girl. That ain't happened. You
That's
know what I'm
true.
saying? And so the mercy, without a shadow of a doubt, the
Yeah.
mercy. Because in truth, I just be like, me? Are you serious? And dealing with the earthquake prophecy. You know what I'm saying? Like I was
That was a big one.
specifically told and forecasted, and then it came exactly on the day at the time, and the star that's descending is in the exact same position of the measurement. It was just like, wow, are you
Yeah,
serious? Me? You know what I mean? Like, so to the mercy, man, the mercy, the mercy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the thing you brought up, David. Like, I guess the reason why David was able to go to heaven, so to speak, is that he never he never tried to downplay what he did. He owned up to all of his mistakes. He, yeah, he basically was like, yeah, I did that shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not I'm not gonna sit here in front like I didn't do, what y'all said I did. I did it, and I think when you're talking about the mercy, I think that is part of the mercy that Allah grants is that you know we are not perfect, and everybody has done something that is worthy of hellfire. But owning your mistakes, I guess I would say, is worthy of Jannah, of heaven. Like,
Mhm.
so yeah, I think that like that's a very beautiful thing is the mercy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the mercy. And as my brother from First Pillar would ask, you know, if you had a chance to ask the prophet one thing,
Mm.
what would it be?
Ooh man, if I had the chance to ask the prophet, peace be upon him, I guess I would ask him that was it prophetic of everything that he had to go through to get Islam where it is and where it will be, because there was so much hate and disdain for the things that were revealed to him and what he did. And for the people in that time to do him like they did him,
Hmm.
knowing they accepted, they pretty much accepted him for the prophet, but they still turned their back on him and they still hunted him down. So I would ask him, Is that part of the story? Like, did you know that you would face that much turmoil and go through all that to basically give us the Quran, and for your companions to go through what they did? I guess that'll be my question.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite? What's your favorite surah right now? Because mine changes, so for sure. But so where you at today? What's your favorite surah?
Hmm. Favorite surah. Favorite surah. Let me see. Hmm. I don't know. What was I reading last night? It always changes, almost weekly, honestly. Um. Hmm. I would say right now, I would say maybe the women,
Mm,
because like I think it's Anissa,
mm-hmm.
and or really between the women and the spider. The
Okay.
spider is really good. I really like that. Um, One, I guess I say the women because it's so much to decode with the woman. And I know in the Nation of Islam they say, is it 80% of the work or
Yeah,
is done
80, yeah, like 85%, something like that.
85% of the
Yeah.
work is done with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And translating the Quran and looking into the words, and it always is talking about a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was in the car with my dad, and we were listening. I think either we were listening to one of the khutbas you did, or
Mm.
we were listening to the Quran or something. Because I usually always have it on like while I'm driving. And he goes, "Oh yeah, no, I think it was the khutbah." And you were talking about one of the khutbahs about the woman or something, and we're saying like, yeah, Allah, it could be a woman. And my dad goes, yeah, duh, you didn't
Right.
know that?
Right.
I looked at my dad. I said, "Are you kidding me right now?"
Right.
Like, so I'm like, okay, you always dropping these gems on me, Dad. Like, so yeah, there's so much reference to the woman. Like, um, when the companions of the prophet, when they got to all of them had, well, not all of them, but when they went to Nubia and got Nubian wives,
Yeah.
and you know, uh, you talk about the black woman, about how uh, they had literary salons. One of the oldest standing mosques is was founded by a black woman,
Yeah.
and so like it's just so much information that is housed with a woman. And even now, like looking into the black woman in Islam and even the Arab women, like of course there's not a lot of literature on them, but the stuff that you can find is just super interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like they don't do them justice at all about uplifting them and
Yep.
talking about the roles that they played. And yeah, like even just non-Islamic women, here in America there were plenty of women chiefess, and you talk about like Queen Nanny in the Maroons, you talk about Queen Zinga. It's like women have done just as much as men, if not more, to contribute to society and to battles and to everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we don't. I'm not we as in so-called black man, but we as in society, as in patriarchy, just totally suppress the contributions that women give. Like, and I just don't think that's I just don't think that's
Mm.
right.
Right, right. And in that vein, intuitively right now, what do you think the reason and or, which I think is or, the mission is with the woman as she is secretly encoded in the Quran, but yet so upfront when he says, it's with the mother of the book with Allah. And I'm like, wait a minute, the mother of the book. Wait a minute, hold on. What are
Yeah.
you talking about? You know what I mean? What do you think the mission is for the woman in Islam?
Hmm. I think that because I would say women are nation builders. And in a way, possibly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that some of the reason why women were maybe kept in the back is to protect them
Mm,
because
mhm,
mm, deep down everybody knows that you can't get another. The only way you can get another a king is from a queen. Like
mm,
you can't. Like it's just not gonna work. And so possibly to protect your kingdom, to protect your empire, you kind of, in some ways, you would like to keep your woman in the back so no one captures that. And perhaps that the woman is really the true beholder. She is the one that is really above all. Like she's the nurturer. She can be the nurturer. She can be the protector. She can be the warrior. She can be everything. While the man can only really fit in certain roles, but a woman is able to operate in both capacities. So she operates from a more, what's the word I want to use? She just has a better position on the field, basically. As far as when it comes to everything. Um, a man does just he just doesn't have that capability. Um, a woman can destroy a kingdom. A woman can build up a kingdom.
mhm,
A man can't necessarily do that. A man can, yeah, sure he can destroy, but he can't really build a kingdom without a queen. So you you're incomplete essentially. But a woman is not. Um, Women just hold the keys. Like period. Everything a man does is for a woman. Period. We put on cologne. We want to smell good. We
mhm,
want to smell good for a woman. You want to put on your nicer clothes. You want to attract a woman. Everything we do is for a woman. Like women get dressed up. Yeah, like of course they like men, but women get dressed up for themselves. They put on makeup and nails and hair and eyelash, and they just sit. Sometimes they just sit in the house. Like they beautify themselves for themselves.
mhm.
Whereas like a lot of men, we don't do that. Like yeah, we go get a haircut, but you want a haircut because you want the ladies to see you.
Right, right, right.
So yeah, I definitely just think that the woman is just the key. Um,
Mm.
you know, period.
Gotcha, gotcha,
Period. I think.
gotcha, gotcha. What is your thus far? What would you say your favorite thing of being in the Golden Heart has been
Oh
for you?
man. Oh man. This Golden Heart experience definitely is probably the most vulnerable and submissive I've ever been in my life, with
Mm,
a group of people who I did not know prior to coming to the Golden Heart. I have truly entrusted. I, at this point, yeah, like they are my. This is my spiritual family. This is my sahab. Like we talk about so much. We cut open wounds that may have we have thought that they were healed, but they were not healed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, there's a lot of work that's being done for sure in the Golden Heart, spiritually, emotionally, and physically for real. And it totally has allowed me to think about the things that I knew. It has totally like realigned my emotional and mental states. It's totally made me have a ego check. Times where and not being egotistical, but I always feel like I just have my ego in check, honestly. But there's always like levels to be done, and it just totally gives me like a better backbone and a better pillar to stand on as far as righteousness and as far as spirituality. Um, the conversations that we have like are super just deep and they're multi-dimensional. Uh, and it always leaves me feeling like, dang, I got so much more work to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was at this place where, I'm good and I totally have like beat that level of life. And you're like, nah, you still got it's still some checkpoints that you need to get done to totally complete that level. And so like everybody in the Golden Heart, like just has something to offer one another. And it's funny and interesting that we all are in some way like we all have either had the same experience, had like will have that experience, like we'll talk about something and maybe somebody didn't necessarily have that particular experience, but later in the weeks to come, like they'll have that experience. So it's like we all are connected in this way, not only through the Golden Heart, but through our spiritual experiences. And
Mm-hmm.
so like it's just been really good for me, honestly. Like um I definitely have totally just really grown a lot. Um Made new friends and um just man, I just learned so much. Like I can't really express that enough. Like it's just been the whole experience has been really cool, honestly.
Right, right. Where would you like to see it at its ultimate height? And what
Mm.
are you doing inside of that? Right there. Yeah.
At its ultimate height,
Yeah.
I would definitely like to see the Golden Heart. Like our community is amazing, but of course, like we all are in different places in the world,
Mhm.
and I would love for us to like totally be able to come together physically and just really put in some work. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
how um I think it was Brother Rich who went to Stone Mountain and
Yeah.
they did a bunch of stuff. I thought that was really cool. I feel like that I would love for all of the members and everybody who show up on Sundays in our Golden Heart to come together and we pick a space and the sky when we focus on it like how we do
Mhm.
when we do anything,
Mhm.
but when we're together it's more powerful
Yeah.
physically. I would love for that. I would love for us to like just be able to build something physically that is truly righteous and that is filled with love. Um,
Mm.
there's not a lot of things, not a lot of temples or buildings that are truly cultivated with love. And I feel like that in our golden heart, it is definitely full of love. Like, um, just by the way we interact with each other. Like, so yes, that's one of the things I would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where could the golden heart go, and where I would like to see it go? Um, man, like I do often think about this. Like, what is the future of the golden heart? Like,
Mm.
I do, and it's always hard for me to really like fathom that. Not in a bad way, but because it's just so many avenues that it could go down. Like, do we when we get new people, how are they gonna respond? Like, how what type of new people like will we get, and where would they be at in their spirituality, and what would they be able to contribute more to the golden heart? Like, what would they bring? And I'm just always so fascinated. Sometimes I keep me up at night because I'm always thinking like, oh my god, like could we build like a golden heart like observatory?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
could we build like an observatory?
Mm-hmm.
Like I always just think like, man, like it's so much that we could do. So much instruction and teaching to be done to basically uh scatter ourselves to each corner of the earth and truly spread the wisdom of the golden heart. Um, yeah. So yeah, I think that too. Um,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And what are you doing in it?
well, I guess how can I put this? Well, not only was I selected to, I don't know why. Uh, not only was I selected to start an Arabic 101 class, which man, I didn't tell everybody about the class. I'm like, I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, they want me to do this class in Arabic. I'm like, I don't understand. And my mom like, she like, you know why they want you to teach the class? I said, no, I do not know. She was like,
Right.
you always been like this in your life. Like people always gravitate towards you, and like you always like to teach stuff, and you said you want to be a professor one day. I was like, I did say that, and now it's coming back on me.
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah, so I guess essentially with me teaching Arabic 101, now that I'm talking about it again, and it's just totally been on my mind since you told me, essentially I am introducing people to the foundational blocks of not only understanding Quran and Allah, but basically opening their hearts and not having
Mm.
to deal with it. When you learn anything new, you obviously, you create more neurons and you strengthen the pathways
Mhm.
of all of the other neurons that you have. So not only are you learning something new, but you also are literally building new neurons in your brain.
Synaptics.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
building new synapses. So I think that's totally cool. I get to be responsible for that. Um, I guess, and also my experiences that I share inside the Golden Heart, and I guess uh, my wisdom. I guess if I can use that word, you just never know who that might touch. I have no idea
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
my experiences and stuff that I shared in the Golden Heart. I have no idea like how that has affected people in my class.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if they like, dang, I remember that thing Brother Wali said, and that kind of helped me, and or I
Mm-hmm.
remember that. So
Mm-hmm.
I totally like I don't get big headed about it at all, but I'm just like, I just I just try to be the light, like how I've always been in life. I always try to see the good in the situation. I always try to big people up when they're a situation when they're, I guess, in an adverse situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's totally my honor and my pleasure to really do this class. Like, man, and with the Arabic, like it's it's so much that is to be learned. And one of my buddies at work, he's from Yemen, and he's a Sunni Muslim, and we talk, we get into debates all the time, or whatever. I know he'd be looking at me crazy, but I'd be
Mm-hmm.
looking at him crazy too.
Mm-hmm.
Astaghfirullah. But uh, so I'll go over and we'll chat about the Arabic or whatever, and he'll be like, "Oh man, like you, what was he? We were going over one of the names of Allah,
Mm-hmm.
and he was asking me like, this is like the Arabic that you're learning. He's like, this is like, I guess, what he was trying to explain to me. Like, this is like, for us, it would be like old English, like biblical
Mm-hmm.
English, like how we are taught in our Arabic class. And he was like, like obviously people don't talk like this. Like this is really mainly for like Quranic texts.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, uh, I guess we're held to a high standard because like this is the Arabic that like I know how to read and stuff like that. Like, and so he's like, yeah, this is really good that you're learning this. But he's like, every time you come over here, I learn something new. And he's like, I mean,
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
yeah, I grew up learning Arabic. Like I speak Arabic, but like he's like, you come over here. He's like, oh, I'm like, oh man, he about to bust my brain. I'm like, yeah, like how do you think I feel?
Right.
And um, there's numbers, and that's a whole different thing. Like with the Arabic numbers, and I learned something cool about that. I think I shared it with y'all in one of the Arabic class about how we were talking, and he was like, "Well, do you know like the Arabic numbers?" I'm like, "No, nah, I don't know the numbers yet or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that." And he made me put up my palms, and he was like, "Wow." He was like, "You got like perfect palms." I'm like, "What you mean, like the M?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you?" He's like, "What does that look like to you?" I'm like, "I don't know. I am." Like,
Right.
I'm like, I'm like, "Are you trying to palm read me?" He's like, "No, no." I was like, "Oh, is that shirt?" So
Right.
we
Right.
started we
Right.
started
Right.
laughing.
Right.
He's like, "No,
Right.
they're numbers." And he was
Mm.
like, on your left palm
Mm-hmm.
is 18, and on your right palm is 81, or something like that. And he was like, well, when you put them together, what does that equal? Oh, I'm like, what? It's like 99. He's like, I was like, oh, it's 99 names of Allah. I'm like, oh my God, like
Mm-hmm.
that. I had to. I'm like, wow, like that's really cool. And so we really, got to talking about that, about how just in the golden heart, we talk about how Allah is on the heart and stuff like that. But just
Yeah.
remembering that Allah is not only on the heart, but He is just all throughout the body. Like I'm pretty sure that once we really start going through different little nuances and things, you'll find, Allah, like the golden ratio, how your ear is, and now
Yeah.
about the palms, and how your hair coils and stuff like that. So I just thought that was really really dope, and
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
kind of glad I get to share some of those experiences with people who may be new to Arabic
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a personal favorite um revelation about the Quran, whether you revealed it or you saw it get broke down and you like, yo, that's different. That's up there. You know what I mean? Do you have one of those?
Mm, not off the top of my head, But what I will say to that is that learning about the companions of the prophet has really been like very eye-opening to me. And learning about and it's still just so much to uncover about, you know, the split with the Umayyad and the Abbasids, and, you know, who went here and who went there, and learning about which companions that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, gave honors to. He didn't give a lot of, you know, honor or mention to a lot of people, but the people that he did, these people are like super interesting. And of course, one of my favorites is Ali. You know, Ali's with the Quran, and the Quran is with Ali. And then one of my new favorites is definitely, I'd say, Ubay ibn Ka'ab,
the reciter,
the master reciter.
Yeah.
But not only does he recite, but he's able to understand. And that's also in the Quran. You know, surely we made the Quran easy. So we not only during prayer are you only reciting a prayer, but knowing what the prayer means. And I think that we were talking about that in one of our classes when we were going over the Fatiha. Just, you know, knowing, you know, what does it mean? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What does that mean? You know, Sirat al-Mustaqim. What do these things mean? Not just being able to recite, but able to really understand what we're saying. And so not only was he a master reciter, but he totally, obviously, he knew what it meant. And him and Ali, I think, is probably one of, man, if I could sit down with those two, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I would be like a kid at a candy store, because he went to, even though he knew the Quran front to back, side to side, up and down, he went to Ali and said, hey, what does this mean? What does, like, what is, tell me about this. And Ali went to him for stuff like, okay, it was totally like a, man, to be a fly in the wall for those conversations. Oh my God, I truly cannot fathom the conversation that they had about just the Quran and all of that. So yeah, those are definitely two of my faves. Two of my faves, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, learning about the companions, I guess, kind of pushes me to read more of the Quran. And in that light, I have those revelations about different surahs. And I have, like, now I guess I'm kind of, they said the more that you read about somebody and the more that you study someone's work, a fractal of their consciousness becomes ingrained in you.
Yeah.
So I definitely just feel like, man, like, you know, I'm learning about all these guys, and I'm like, man, like, I get the bug. Like, I can't stop reading about this thing, or I can't stop searching about this. Kind of like when I was doing the 99 names of Allah, I was truly on like a 2-week high. Like, I could not just, man, like, I'm translating different surahs, I'm reading about different stuff, and man, I've never experienced that, honestly. And so yeah, learn about that totally kind of, that kind of is what reveals to me certain things to go look up. You know, I'll have a dream about something, and I'll see some numbers in my dream, and I'm like, let me go see if this is in the Quran or something like that, you know. So that'll kind of prompt me to go look at something. Or if I'm seeing like a repeating number or whatever, I'll try to see if it's a surah in the Quran, or, you know, something like that. So it's more so of that line.
Alhamdulillah. I got those where the Quran has definitely been an oracle book for me,
Mm.
where you get this inspiration that comes in and it says, I wonder if the golden mean is in the Quran. And
Mm.
then you go to a golden mean calculator, and then you type in the total parts as 114, which is the total swords of the Quran, which the golden mean is going to push out a long side and a short side of the equation.
Yeah.
And the long side being 70.4 and the short side being 43.5 something. And SOAR 43 is the gold. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, hold on. You mean to tell me in the golden mean calculator, you put the total amount in there as 114, which is the total source, and the short part literally means gold, the soar of the gold. And
Yes.
then the long part, which is 70.4, was the verse that did it for me. That's the one that, the angels and spirit ascend to him in the measure of
Matter of
50,000
50,000.
years, and was able to find that location, because that's a precise coordinate. When you
Absolutely.
say that, astronomically speaking, that's a coordinate somewhere. We may just not know which direction to go and look, but it's somewhere that's only 50,000 years away. And that is a big one for me, because I'm like, yo, they're talking coordinates to us. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's just so beautiful. And I found what that was, and and how that literally created us. Literally, that location created us, our sun
Yeah.
and everything. It's like,
Yeah.
wow. You know what I mean? So seeing things like that. But I'm glad you said attributes. My last question for you would be, what is your favorite attribute right now?
Hmm. Honestly, this is it's gonna be so cliche, but Wally, I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah. That's been my
you.
zikr for this season that we in, for the month. I've been doing them 1,000 a day. I haven't missed. You know what I mean? So
Oh
I
yeah.
do a
Well,
thousand wallies every day. Yeah.
to I mean, it has a different, two different meanings. Wali is, the trustee,
Hmm.
and when in Orthodox Islam or whatever, what have you, you would go to a wali if you would want to get married to,
Hmm.
somebody. But I love the term ever loving friend of God.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's such like, man, like, man, I think that's so profound, honestly. The ever loving friend of God.
Yeah.
And I often really sit down and I really think about, like, wow, for that to be a attribute is really amazing, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because somebody recognized you in a way that all this person does is uplift the name of God, or find out about the goodness of God, or find out everything, maybe the intricacies,
Hmm.
and that, yes, it's the intricacies of God. And you know you always hear the term mathematics is the Quran and Quran is mathematics.
Hmm.
And one of the languages of God is totally mathematics. And to really understand how a great portion of just how our universe and how our reality, and how to have a fundamental thing or idea of how almost everything works. It doesn't matter if a person speaks Chinese or Arabic or English. If I write an equation on the board, we all will be able to understand what this equation means.
Hmm.
We all will come to, for the most part, the same understanding of what this equation means. And this is why I love that. Like, science is physics, astrophysics. These are the languages of God. And the more
Mhm.
that we get acquainted, and the more that we study these things, the more our relationship strengthens with God. And I just, that to me is just like super, super, super profound. Like
Yeah.
man, oh my God, I, I can't, I don't even have the words to really explain it all the way, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's probably my favorite as well, for sure. Because that title is a very high prestigious thing, because you are when you're the friend of God, the protecting friend of God, you are really the imam, the real imam. You are God's representative on earth
yes,
when you embody that. You know
and
what I
that's a
mean?
big,
That is
big.
very big.
That's a
That
very
is
mission.
that is very big.
Yeah.
Very, very, very big. Yeah. So I'm with you on that as well. I'm with you on well. So the last thing I think it is, but the last thing will be this for me, for you, will be what would you know, well, let's go there. That's two of them.
Okay.
It's two things.
Sure.
It's the infamous Judgment Day, or you get to meet Allah, in a
Uh,
sense. Yeah, you get to meet Allah. How would you like that to look? And then the second thing will be, um, what would you tell someone in closing about Islam?
okay. Let me answer the last question first. What I would tell somebody about Islam is that one, there's no one path to Islam.
Mm,
Um, Islam is not a religion; it's a way of life. Um, I will also say that when a person is practicing Islam or is interested in Islam, there is a tremendous amount of discipline that you must maintain to truly embody the principles.
mhm,
This way of life is not a easy way of life, but it is a righteous and upright way of life. And if you are a person who struggles with discipline, Islam is definitely something to add to your repertoire to help you get on the straight path back to whatever source that may be. Obviously, in Islam, we call it Allah, but you know, Allah has 99 names. So whatever that name be for you, if it's patience, if it's whatever love, if it's whatever it is, there is something in Islam for everybody. I will also say that not all practicers of Islam do Islam justice. There are people who practice the Islamic faith who totally will will make you turn your nose up at it, like, oh, like I don't agree with this, or I don't like this, and I don't want to do that. But that's not the case. You got some people who, for we'll call them Muslims, they don't make salat. They don't pray 5 times a day.
mhm.
They some people, they build temples, they build mosques and stuff. That's how they make their quote unquote salat. they don't feel like they need to because they build temples and they're erecting the temple of God. So what? Why would I need to pray 5 times a day and I'm erecting a temple for you to worship Allah in?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no one size fits all to Islam. I would definitely say that.
Mm-hmm.
But Islam definitely gets you on a path of discipline. It gets you on a path of righteousness. And you don't have to do everything that one sect of Islam tells you to do because that may not resonate with you. I don't do everything that the Sunnis do. I don't do everything that the Shia do. I don't do
Mm-hmm.
everything that the Sufis do. And I think that's kind of one of the principles that we have in our golden heart is that it's a amalgamation of multiple principles and multiple things that we incorporate, which makes our golden heart truly unique. We don't just do one thing. We may align more with certain principles of one or two sects, but we don't. There's no box that contains this. Or I guess the box would just be called the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
It's golden heart, and so yeah, I would say that. People always talk about trying Jesus, which peace and blessing be upon him, but no one ever says try Prophet Muhammad. So yeah, I would say that. Um, it's very interesting to read about the companions of the Prophet. It's very interesting to read about how there are so many intricacies in history that have a very peculiar road to Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we do certain things that the way we do? Why do we pray to the east? Why do these people do this thing? Why do people dress like this? Like there's so many connections that we can draw to the quote unquote Islamic faith that we do and we don't know that it's quote unquote Islamic. So yeah, I would say that.
Cool. Cool.
Um, when it's time to meet Allah, oh man, um, I guess Judgment Day, and I guess a Judgment Day scenario. I often think about this. One of the things that I semi subscribe to is that there will be a member or a brother on each corner with a leaflet in Arabic and a leaflet in
Mm-hmm.
English. And one will be an instruction to go to some place,
Mm-hmm.
and one will be an instruction to go to another place. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that if you aren't Muslim or you don't practice Islam, that you just go to hell, and that just because you are a practitioner of Islam, that you just automatically get to go to heaven. But I believe that the how the Egyptians, well, not Egyptians, but the Kemites,
Mm-hmm.
that it's going to be truly it's going to be a measure of your heart, and that is the most important thing. You can make all the salats, you can make up all the salats that you missed, you
Mm-hmm.
can be a perfect Muslim, so to speak. But
Mm-hmm.
if you have a locked and guarded heart, then you're no better than a sinner.
Right.
And so when it's time to walk the halls of Amenti and you get your heart weighed on that scale with the feather, I hope you're not. That is hope. I hope it's not going to be, you know, heavy. I hope that it will be a lighter than the feather.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Mm. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Man, you want to leave us with any closing words? How people can get at you and what to expect.
Well, I'm in the Patreon, so and if you, I don't know how the flow of my Arabic class will be. I don't know if this will just be only one. I don't know if I'm gonna be the trustee.
You 1-on-1. I told Janine today. I said I'm never doing 1-on-1 again. I don't.
Oh man. So yeah.
That's like trying to get me to teach Astro 1-on-1 again. No, I will not.
Okay.
It's on the video module for life. I'm not doing that again. Then that also let me know who's serious too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so,
So yeah.
that- you can have it, sir.
Oh. Uh. So yeah. As far as that, my email is in the Patreon. Underneath the Arabic 1-on-1 class. If anybody wants to hit me up about that, that's cool. Um. I still got a lot to learn about Arabic, and man, it's totally interesting. So we all are going to learn something from each other. Um, I'm in the Golden Heart, so you can catch me in the Golden Heart on Sundays. If you want to chat with me, or you want to ask me a question, or if you think I'm interesting, I guess you could totally ask me anything. Um, I'm pretty much an open book, honestly. Um, but yeah, that's what I have to say. If you want to get at me on there, we'll say closing remarks. Man, just one I'd say in general, when you are navigating the dunya, just remember that what essentially try not, try your best, your absolute best to not do anything that takes you out of the remembrance of Allah.
Mm,
Um, remember remember your purpose of why you practice whatever religion you practice or whatever way of life that you practice is to ultimately become as pure as possible. Of course, many of us navigate in the everyday world, and sometimes that's challenging.
mhm,
But remember your training. Remember your spiritual training. Um, remember all the keys and all of the wisdom that you've been taught to repel the shaitan. Um, Shaitan is not always outside of you, but shaitan is also inside of you.
mm,
So remember that it may not. Sometimes people are a mirror to you, and sometimes you may think that you on your deen and you living your best life, and sometimes you just maybe not. And sometimes when you are confronted with a situation, are you triggered or is somebody holding up a mirror to you? So I guess that's what I would say.
mm. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, man, we gonna get up out of here. We got class tomorrow. We got
Oh
stuff to
yeah.
do. I think there's going to be maybe a pop quiz on them tomorrow. I gotta kind of prep for. I don't know. But yeah, man, it's an awesome conversation, man. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me,
Man,
honestly.
absolutely, man. I love you, man, and may you continue to keep on doing great things and whatnot. And yeah, I tell you, I ain't gonna spill the beans yet for everybody. I tell you, but yeah, some things that we definitely working on to make them, the vision of the golden heart
Yeah.
come true. For sure. For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, kinfolk, we up out of here. You can get at us. Of course, we in the Patreon. And you still, even in the Patreon, you still gotta knock, you still gotta inquire, because we don't push Islam on everybody, because a lot of people don't know me for that. They know me more of the star guy and things of that nature. But yeah, there is a spiritual practice that we get into that is really rooted in them stars. The Quran has a whole surah called the star, and
He's
then
Hashem. That's so
53.
cool.
Yeah, then one called the sun, then one called the moon, then another one called the zodiac constellations, that they want to say mean the towering stars or the big stars. So from the sun to the star to the moon to the big stars to the light, Quran is full of it.
Yeah.
Full of heavenly mysteries. 5122 Darayat, in the heaven is your provision and everything promised to you. God ain't got nothing for you. He dropped it off in heaven already. Ooh, that's a whole. Now you gotta show me where. That's a whole another thing, man. That's the Islam I'm talking about. He said everything promised to you is already there. I'm busy. I ain't dropped it off. That's crazy. That's wild.
Real quick before we go,
mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you if you can talk about your different spiritual schools and how they have brought you to this place that you are at now. I mean, you talk about the Chinese stuff that you learn, and you talk about the Masonic stuff that you learn. You talk about the Nation of Islam stuff that you learn. Can you walk us down your path of the path of Anpu, of where you started, where each block of school got you ultimately to where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. Even though that's gonna be, y'all get ready. Y'all thought y'all was about to get out of here. You might as well get ready now, but no. So that's very interesting.